I'm 42 years old. I've been married for 11 years. No kids, which I used to think was just how life worked out for us. Now I wonder if it was the universe sparing someone else from the mess I'm living in. Before all this, my life felt stable. Predictable in a good way. My wife and I had routines, Sunday grocery runs, late-night shows we half-watched, inside jokes no one else would find funny. I trusted her completely. Like, never even checked her phone kind of trust. I was proud of that. My family is scattered across different cities, but we're close. Or at least I thought we were. One cousin in particular, Mark, was someone I grew up with. Same age bracket, same childhood summers, same grandparents' house. He moved to another city years ago for work, and we kept in touch loosely. Holiday messages, occasional calls. Nothing intense. My wife knew him, of course. She always said he was sweet and easy to talk to. I didn't think anything of it. Why would I? Life felt normal. Boring sometimes, sure. But safe. Solid. The kind of normal you don't appreciate until it's gone, and you'd do anything to get it back. Looking back, the red flags were there. Not giant, waving in your face ones. Just quiet little things. Easy to explain away if you don't want to see them. My wife started traveling more for work. She'd always had occasional trips, but this was different. Longer stays. More urgency. She was stressed but weirdly energized at the same time. She mentioned Mark more often. Just casually. Mark said the job market is crazy right now. Mark knows someone in that industry. It didn't feel threatening. He was family. That word alone shut down any suspicion before it could even form. She became protective of her phone. Not dramatic, just subtle shifts. Screen angled away. Notifications silenced. If I asked who texted, she'd answer quickly, too quickly. I told myself I was being paranoid. I hated the idea of becoming one of those insecure husbands who reads meaning into nothing. I trusted her. I trusted him. When she told me she had to travel to his city for a short-term work project, it actually felt convenient. She'd save on hotels by staying nearby. She said she'd be busy the whole time. Exhausted. Probably wouldn't call much. I remember joking. "Don't let my cousin steal you from me." She laughed. A little too loud. I didn't notice then. I wish I had. The doubt didn't hit me all at once. It seeped in slowly, like water through a crack you don't see until the damage is done. She was gone for 5 days. Barely called. When she did, she sounded distracted, distant. I told myself she was tired. Work stress. New environment. On the 4th night, I woke up around 2 a.m. and checked my phone out of habit. No messages. I don't know why, but I felt this sudden urge to check hers. That had never happened before. I actually argued with myself in my head. I didn't unlock it. I didn't need to. A message preview lit up the screen. "Mark, I still smell you on my sheets." My heart stopped. Literally felt like my body forgot how to function. I stared at those words for what felt like an hour. My hands were shaking so badly I had to sit down on the bed. I reread it again and again, hoping it would rearrange itself into something innocent. It didn't. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just felt hollow. Like someone had reached into my chest and scooped everything out. I waited until morning. I don't know how. I don't know how I didn't break right then. That was the moment my life split into before and after. I spent that whole day like a zombie. Every casual text, every laugh we'd shared over the past months, I kept replaying them, asking myself if I'd been blind. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe it was a joke. Maybe Mark was joking. But deep down I knew. Then came the phone call. She sounded cheerful, tired but upbeat. I wanted to scream. "Where were you really?" But I just said, "Hey, how's work?" The words caught in my throat. My voice cracked, betraying everything I was trying to hide. She didn't notice. She probably did. She always did, but maybe she just didn't care. I started checking things I never would have before: her emails, her calendar, travel receipts. Every little detail that used to feel mundane now felt like a clue. And slowly, patterns emerged. Late dinners at his place. Weekends, working, in his city. A tone in her emails that didn't sound like her. Friendly, intimate, too familiar. I tried to convince myself I was overreacting. I tried to believe in my marriage, in our history. But every fiber of my being screamed that something was wrong. And not just wrong, irreparably, catastrophically wrong. By the 5th day I knew. Not think I know, but knew. I just had to catch her in it, see it for myself, or I'd never forgive myself for ignoring the signs. It was accidental. Stupid, tragic, and life-changing. I was clearing her laptop for a work file she'd forgotten. She left it logged in, and a pop-up notification caught my eye. "Mark, I can't wait to see you tonight." Alone. Something inside me snapped. I couldn't breathe. My hands shook so badly I almost dropped the laptop. I read every message after that, each one more explicit than the last. Hours of back and forth, phone numbers swapped, plans made in secret. I felt my stomach twist into knots. I didn't call her. I didn't knock on his door in another city. I just sat there, numb. Shock had no room for tears yet. Just rage, confusion, disbelief. I kept whispering her name over and over, like saying it would make the whole nightmare vanish. It didn't. Finally, I left the house. I needed air. Needed to move. Needed anything that wasn't sitting in my own betrayal. When she returned, I confronted her immediately. She looked tired, happy to be home, and I hollow, trembling, barely able to string a sentence together. Where were you really?" I asked. My voice was barely audible. She froze. Then tried to laugh. "I told you, work trip." I slammed my hand on the table. "No. Don't lie. I know." Her face went pale, then defensive. I don't know what you're talking about." I threw the laptop at her. Messages glaring, unignorable. Her eyes widened, then filled with tears. It didn't mean anything," she sobbed. I was lonely, it was just." I couldn't finish listening. Everything inside me screamed. How could you?" We yelled. We cried. We screamed until the walls shook. I felt rage, heartbreak, shame, all at once. I hated myself for trusting, for loving, for hoping. She hated herself too. Or at least, she said she did? But the damage was done. The days after that confrontation were hell. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, couldn't even focus at work. Every corner of the house reminded me of her, of him, of the life I thought I had. I felt like I was watching my life in third person, powerless to intervene. I kept replaying her words. It didn't mean anything. Did she even understand what nothing meant? Because it destroyed everything. I started questioning myself in ways I never thought I would. Had I been too clingy? Too distant? Too stupid to notice her dissatisfaction? None of it mattered. Nothing could erase what happened. I also had to deal with anger at Mark. My cousin. Someone I grew up with, trusted, considered family. He didn't just betray me, he violated boundaries I thought were sacred. The rage was visceral. I wanted to scream at him, hit him, punch walls. But he lived hundreds of miles away, and that made it worse. Everywhere I turned, I felt trapped in a whirlwind of betrayal, shame, and grief. Friends noticed my withdrawal. I lied about stress at work. I didn't tell anyone the truth. Who could I tell? Who would understand without judgment? Then came the family. I had to tell my parents. My siblings. Mark's parents. It was worse than I imagined. My parents cried. My father's face went pale. How could she? My mother whispered. Mark's parents reacted with shock and disbelief at first, then anger. "He's not the kind of boy to do this," they said. I almost laughed bitterly. They couldn't see the truth, even when it stared them in the face. I realized quickly that no one could fix this for me. The betrayal had fractured trust in every direction. Holidays would be awkward. Family gatherings would be tense. I couldn't look at Mark the same way again, or my wife, or even myself. Even casual mentions of their names triggered a knot in my stomach. I was forced to navigate my own grief while watching everyone around me struggle with loyalty, shock, and judgment. I stopped believing in anything for a while. Not her, not Mark, not even myself. My own judgment had failed me. I kept thinking about every hug, every joke, every "I love you" she ever said. Was it all performance? We tried talking a few more times. I wanted explanations. She wanted forgiveness. I wanted answers I knew she couldn't give. "You promised me we'd always be honest," I shouted one night. She nodded, tears streaming. "I know. I failed. It didn't help. It didn't fix anything. And it would never." The house felt empty even when she was in it. I couldn't sleep in the same bed. I couldn't eat at the same table. I was a ghost in my own life. I realized trust isn't something you can repair just by talking about it. Once it's gone, it leaves a scar so deep you feel it in every breath. Living with her after the revelation was unbearable. I couldn't look at her without seeing every lie, every secret rendezvous, every betrayal. Our home, once a place of comfort, became a trap. I found myself walking on eggshells, pretending nothing had happened, while internally screaming. I stopped making plans. Social events became excuses to leave early. Even mundane things, cooking dinner, watching TV, felt poisoned by memory. Every time she laughed or leaned against me, I flinched. Work became my escape. I buried myself in deadlines and meetings, anything to avoid facing her, facing us. But at night, the exhaustion turned into raw, hollow grief. I'd lie awake replaying her messages, imagining them together. My chest would tighten so badly I thought I might pass out. Friends noticed. I pushed them away. I couldn't bring myself to explain. No one could really understand. The shame of being betrayed like that, the humiliation of it all, it's a weight that made my own body ache. After months of this, the inevitable happened. Conversations stopped being about reconciliation. They became about logistics. Who would live where, what possessions to divide, how to explain to extended family. We tried couples therapy. I showed up with a wall around my heart, every word measured and defensive. She tried to speak, to explain, to appeal to the good times, and love we still have. But I couldn't hear her. All I heard was the voice of betrayal echoing in my mind. Arguments erupted over trivial things. Grocery lists. Bills. Silence in the kitchen. Even choosing a movie became a battlefield. Our marriage wasn't a marriage anymore. It was a cage we couldn't escape without breaking something. Eventually, we made the decision to separate. No dramatic courtroom fights, no lawyers screaming over assets, just cold, quiet acceptance that what we had was gone. And I felt both relief and grief, sometimes in the same hour. Even now, years later, the memory is raw. Every time I think of Mark, I feel a mix of anger, betrayal, and disbelief. Every time I think of her, I feel heartbreak and loss, but also a strange, hollow compassion. Human beings are flawed. But that doesn't make it any easier to bear. I struggle with trust in all my relationships. Even friendships feel tentative. I second-guess people, my instincts, my judgment. I overanalyze every word, every gesture. Intimacy is terrifying. Vulnerability feels dangerous. Some nights I dream of the life we could have had. Some nights I dream of confronting them both in a way that makes the universe fair again. Most nights, I just stare at the ceiling, wondering how someone could love me one moment and betray me the next, and what that says about the world, about people, about me. After the separation, life didn't magically get better. There's no reset button for the kind of trust that's been obliterated. I moved into a small apartment, away from all the reminders. Nights were the hardest, silent, empty, long. I started seeing a therapist. At first, I just wanted someone to validate the anger, the hurt, the humiliation. But slowly, I realized I needed to understand myself too. Why had I ignored the signs? Why had I trusted so blindly? And why, after everything, did a part of me still miss her? I've rebuilt some routines. I exercise, I work, I maintain friendships. I laugh sometimes. But it's different now, edges sharper, joy more cautious. My trust is rationed, measured. I can't imagine going back to naive belief in people without a part of me screaming, "Watch out, don't fall again." I think about Mark sometimes. I don't want revenge, I just want the memory of him gone. He's family, but that word doesn't feel real anymore. And as for her, I still love her in flashes of memory, but the memory is like a photograph burned at the edges. Beautiful once, now ruined. I've realized that life doesn't have to be fair. People don't have to be kind. And sometimes the ones you trust the most are the ones who will hurt you the deepest. I also learned that ignoring red flags for the sake of love is dangerous. That gut feeling you push aside? Listen to it. Your peace, your self-respect, your sanity, those are worth protecting. Today, I'm older, maybe wiser, maybe just more cautious. I still think about what could have been. I still feel that hollow ache some mornings. But I survive. I carry the scars, visible and invisible, reminders that life is fragile, trust is precious, and love can be a weapon as easily as it can be a gift. I write this not for sympathy, not for judgment, but because I needed to put it out into the world. Some part of me wants someone else to hear it and learn from my pain before they have to experience the same. If you're reading this and you feel doubt, listen to it. Protect your heart. And never ignore the quiet whispers your instincts give you. Because sometimes, the people closest to you are the ones capable of the most damage, and there's no undoing that.